Our dear candidates, boys and girls, my name is Aloy and I'll be taking you through social studies. And this is our very first session or lesson. And today we shall be looking at the topic, foreign influence in African continent. I am compelled to believe that when you were in P5, you looked at the topic foreign influence in Uganda. Yet again, when you were in primary 6, you looked at foreign influence in East Africa. But the difference here is we are going to look at this topic in a deeper and broader perspective. Therefore, before we go any further, there are some new words that we need to understand before we walk down the path of this topic. These vocabularies include 1. The word foreign. We need to understand these vocabularies and you should be able to use them in your daily grammar. The word foreign can mean something from an overseas country. Something from an overseas country. The other vocabulary is foreigner. The word foreigner can mean a person from a different country or a person born in a different country. That's a foreigner. And like we can have Dan from Sudan in Uganda being called a foreigner. Number 3, the other vocabulary is the word influence. Because we have it here, influence, so we need to understand its meaning. The word influence means the power or the capacity to cause change. And this change can be caused in either an individual or a community. The other vocabulary is the phrase foreign influence. This is the key vocabulary we need to understand. That is foreign influence. The phrase foreign influence can mean the negative and the positive changes that are brought to Africa by early visitors. Or another person can say that foreign influence refers to the social, political, and economic changes on Africans that are brought by early visitors to Africa. That is foreign influence. So in this topic, we shall be looking at the impact that foreigners had in Africa, the good and the bad changes that that foreigners had in Africa or caused in Africa. Now, boys and girls, for many years or for a long time, Africa was often referred to as a dark continent by Europeans because little information was known about the interior of Africa. Another can say that Europeans did not have much information about African continent. That one is very important. We need to write it down. So we are going to look at this question here. Our very first question is, why was Africa called a dark continent? It's very important in this case. Why was Africa called a dark continent? Or we can even continent said by Europeans. So there's basically one reason why Africa is called a dark continent, but can give right in different responses. One, we can say little information was known about the interior of Africa. Another two, you can also say that little information, Europeans did not have much information about Africa. So we can write down and say little information was known about the interior of Africa. So little information was known about the interior of Africa. Another person can say that Europeans did not have much information Europeans did not have much information about the interior of Africa. It's very important. So Europeans don't have much information about the interior of Africa. Yes, of course, there were many reasons why the interior of Africa took a long time to be known outside the world. So in this case, we want to look at reasons why Europeans took a very long time to know more about the interior of Africa. So one of the reasons is Africa had impassable features, especially the interior of Africa had impassable features. So when we are saying Africa had impassable features, these impassable features included huge mountains, lakes and rivers, and then thick and impenetrable forests. These impassable features hindered the movement of early foreigners, and hence it was very difficult for these early foreigners to advance into the interior of Africa. So boys and girls, we are looking at reasons why Africa took a long time to be known outside the world. But then it is important for us to write it down. So we shall first write before we come up with our points. So our subheading is reasons why Africa took a long time to be known outside the world. Let's rub off this to create space for our heading. So to be known outside the world. So we want to look at why Africa, especially the interior, took a long time to be known outside the world. And one of them, we talked about impassable features. One, we are saying Africa had impassable features. Boys and girls, the interior of Africa had impassable features like huge mountains, lakes and rivers, and then thick and impenetrable forests. So these impassable features hindered the movement of foreigners in Africa, and therefore it was so difficult for them to advance into the interior of Africa. The second point, boys and girls, is Africa has the biggest and the hottest desert in the world, and that is Sahara Desert. You must recall that most early travelers who tried to carry out an expedition through Sahara Desert were not successful because Sahara Desert was too big for them to cross. And also, the climatic conditions in Sahara Desert were very harsh, and this failed them to advance through Sahara Desert, hence keeping the interior of Africa unknown for a long time. So our point is presence of Sahara Desert. Presence of Sahara Desert. This one had a great impact and a great cause as to why Europeans took long to know about the interior of Africa. The other point, boys and girls, is Africa had, especially the interior of Africa, had hostile tribes. The interior had hostile tribes. The interior of Africa had many hostile tribes like the Nandi, the Maasai, and the Wazimbe, who scared away other travelers in Africa. And then the other point we can talk about is presence of dangerous and fierce wild animals. So still the interior of Africa had dangerous, or we can say fierce. So some of you might have already realized the mistake with my spelling, the problem with my spelling of the word dangerous. So this I is not supposed to be there. I hope you've already seen it. So we are going to And now this letter, I'll just add letter O, U, S. So dangerous or fierce wild animals. So the interior of Africa had dangerous or fierce wild animals like lions, tigers, and leopards. These dangerous wild animals also scared away other travelers to the interior of Africa. Then our very last point, boys and girls, is that Africa never had well-defined routes. You can also say that Africa never had clear routes or proper roads. And hence, hindering is the movement to the interior of Africa. So we are saying Africa never had well-defined routes. So Africa never had well-defined routes. You can call them, you can also say Africa never had clear routes. Or you can say Africa never had proper routes. So these factors, boys and girls, kept African continent to be unknown for a long time to the outside world. Now, having looked at all this, at this material time, we want to look at groups of foreigners that came to Africa. There were mainly two groups of foreigners that came to Africa, basing on the origin. So our subheading is groups of foreigners. Groups of foreigners that came to Africa So we want to look at these groups that came to African continent, groups of foreigners that came to Africa. And the very first group, boys and girls, we can talk about the Asians. And under Asians, we can subdivide this into three groups. One of them, we had Arab traders. And don't forget that Arab traders were the first group of foreigners to come to Africa. And then the other group, we had the Persians. We had the Persians. The very last group of Asians, we had the Indians. Indians came from India, the Persians came from Persia, and the Arab traders came from Saudi Arabia, all in Asia. That's why we call them Asians. The other last group of foreigners to Africa, boys and girls, we have the Europeans. And Europeans can be classified into 5 different groups. One, the very first group of Europeans to come to Africa were the explorers. Don't forget that it is these explorers who helped to expel mysteries, lies about Africa. And Europeans stopped calling Africa a dark continent because of the coming of explorers who helped to cut out expedition and traveled all over Africa and gathered necessary information about African continent, and hence expelling fears and lies about Africa. And the other group, boys and girls, we have Christian missionaries. So Christian missionaries was yet another group of Europeans that came to Africa. You can call them missionaries, you can also call them missionary teachers. The other side group of Europeans to Africa, we had traders. We also had another group, and those were colonialists. You can call them administrators. And then the very last group of Europeans to Africa were the settlers. Call them white settlers. So boys and girls, these are the subgroups of Europeans that came to Africa. But then, if we are asked to give examples of foreigners or groups of foreigners that came to Africa, I will advise us to write the following. One can say Arab traders. We can talk about the Persians, the Indians, explorers, missionaries, traders, colonialists, and then white settlers. So these are all groups of foreigners that came to Africa. And these are their origin, Asia and Europe. Boys and girls, at this material time, I want to say we have ended our lesson. But then before I end, I want to report to you that with the activity, we shall upload the activity, then you download it. You will attempt and you find a better way to mark it. Before I leave the class, boys and girls, you know what is taking place. This is what you call coronavirus or COVID-19. Before the very day you left the school, the head teacher talked to you. He gave you the precautions and gave you the instructions on how to keep safe. You've also watched the TV. The president and also the health minister and other stakeholders have always talked to you about this. Please respect these precautions or other instructions. I want to report to you that most people that failed or that died, according to the Bible, were those people who failed to obey the instructions. Look at Adam and Eve. They failed to live according to the expectations of God because they failed to respect the instructions. Look at Moses. He also perished in the wilderness because he did not respect the instructions. So you obey the instructions and then you shall live safely. I love you so much. Next time when we meet, we shall continue from there. Thank you so much.